Ethereum just hit $4,000. It's actually a bit above 4,000 already. So it finally took out those equal highs. There's a lot to unpack here. So in this video, I'm going to run through it all quickly to show you everything that you need to know, because right now it is super important to pay attention. And this may just be the final exit pump and potentially altcoin season in the near future that we are looking for. And if you don't pay attention, if you don't have an exit strategy, you will get wrecked, because after the bull is done, it all comes down just as quickly again in the next bear market. So first things first, 2 weeks ago, I made this video here publicly on my YouTube channel where I was looking at a long setup on ETH for a run to $4,000, and this actually ended up playing out perfectly. So switching over to Ethereum, right now, as you can see, we're at $4,000, $4,050. So what has finally happened is we have gotten above the 4,000 equal highs. So if we switch this back over to the weekly chart, it's very important to see here. And this is what I've been saying for quite a while now. These equal highs at $4,000 on any type of chart, regardless of the fact that this was weekly Ethereum. If you see this on any type of chart, whether it's a 5-minute chart or a 1-hour chart, equal highs or equal lows, they tend to eventually get swept because there is liquidity there. So what happened is we created these equal highs, we dropped back below, we had this deviation, and then we had a massive pump, and we are now in the process of taking these out right now. I do think we have a bunch of upside ahead of us, and I do actually think that Ethereum will go to new all-time highs, because that is very, very close in terms of percentages. It's barely 20% from here, just about. As you can see, the all-time high was just shy of $4,900. Now, what's important to understand here is that we are now in the final stretch of the traditional cycle. Historically, there has not been a cycle that has gone on longer than 550 days after the halving till Bitcoin reached its peak. Right now, we're at 475 days. That means there's 75 days left until Bitcoin reaches the exact same point in time as the longest bull cycle ever for Bitcoin. So, assuming that this time is not different, we have 75 days left, which is approximately about 2.5 months, which puts us somewhere in the middle to end of October. Now, Ethereum and altcoins have traditionally gone on a little bit longer than Bitcoin. So there is a potential window where if, say, Bitcoin peaks mid-October, that altcoins might have another 2 to 4 weeks left after that. So that gives us a maximum window of about 3 to 3.5 months for this whole crypto bull market to play out. And what we are starting to see is potentially just a repeat of the same cycle. As nuts as that would be for it to exactly play out in the same way again, it might be happening. Because this has kind of been the meme in the previous cycles, where we have this graphic that was created by someone on Reddit or on Twitter, I believe. And they created this graphic where first Bitcoin pumps, then Ethereum pumps, then large cap pumps, and then we have alt season and the final blow of top. And sometimes we've had multiple of these throughout a bull season. Now this whole bull cycle has been rather disappointing with altcoins and with Ethereum, but maybe it was all just massively delayed. And maybe what we're seeing now is that we are in fact in phase 2, where Bitcoin has already gone all-time highs multiple times. Ethereum is now playing catch up. As we can clearly see, we're at over $4,000. We're almost at all-time highs, and that can happen very, very quickly. We could see all-time highs within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then we might just see a spillover into other coins, and maybe just a complete frenzy, meme coins, NFTs, who knows what's going to happen in that next 3.5 month window. And that's why I say it's so very important to pay attention, because if this plays out in this way, we have 2.5 to 3.5 months of upside ahead of us. And after it's done, the market peaks. We're in for a massive bear market in 2026 if the cycle repeats, where all these altcoins drop 80, 90, maybe even 99%. Bitcoin might drop 50, 60, 70%. And if you hold past the bull cycle top and you haven't removed initial and you haven't taken profits, you will get wrecked. Now, it's still way too early to call this. It's only the 8th of August, but I have mentioned this multiple times in the previous few videos, and the pattern is that every August before the bear market, as you can see here, 2013 was green, 2017 was green, 2021 was green, and we are now in what is likely to be the year before the bear market. Bear market 2014, 2018, 2022 and probably 2026. So if that pattern repeats, it means August will be green, and so far things are shaping up in that way. So there is a lot of buying pressure publicly. Massive companies and whales are accumulating ETH and buying it like crazy. So that is lining up perfectly with what is happening on the charts. And I think that's something that's probably going to continue in the short term. This is all probably as a result also of this Genius Act being passed, where the stable coins are going to be basically legal, and a bunch of the stable coins, more than 50% of them, are on Ethereum. So maybe because of this clarity towards Ethereum and regulatory basically framework, that we're just seeing all these big whales completely ape into Ethereum, and that's lining up with the chart. So I would expect we're probably going to get some sort of trickery. So obviously be careful with any sort of high leverage, especially if you're only longing here. We're going to get a bunch of FOMO longs. Like, first people are still trying to short it at 4,000, and it probably rips to 4,200 or 4,300. And then all the people are going to start jumping on the longs. It gets too crowded, and we see a big wick down initially again from, you know how it goes, right? It could do something like this, go up to like 42, 43, back down, and then a big run up to something like that. I do expect before this bull cycle to be over for Ethereum to make new all-time highs, which is probably above $5,000. Technically, if you want to call it 4,900, but we'll probably see over $5,000 Ethereum, in my opinion, before the cycle is over, just based on the technicals here and the liquidity that is there. And then once we have that, it'll probably spill over into altcoins, hopefully into meme coins, hopefully a whole big frenzy, and then the party is over. So make sure that you have your plan, your strategy. Buy low, sell high. Take profits, scale out as it goes higher, especially with altcoins, because when the cycle is over, it's all going to come way, way, way back down, especially altcoins, especially shitcoins and meme coins. So you got to pay attention. You got to play this the right way. If you're looking for an exchange to trade crypto on, spot and futures, BLOFIN exchange is the place where I trade, and I've got a massive amount of bonuses and benefits if you sign up through the link in the description down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.